You're printing.
I'm printing Los Angeles class.
Oh, okay.
Where did you get the files from?
So I got the base file from Thingiverse, but I had to modify a lot of it.
Gotcha.
Obviously, cut it up and whatnot.
Yep. You bet.
How long is that thing going to be?
I'm estimating about 6 feet, 5.5 ish.
You got a good place to run it?
Yes, I do. There's several local ponds that are pretty clear. So
Bob, the one I did, I think it was the one I got from you. Was that the LA class or the
I
Ohio?
thought you had one of everything I've done. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I should have wrote it down here, but Alan, you ought to, if you're going to have problems with, Thingiverse, they got some fairly decent stuff out there, but everything I have done through them is always, I've had to go in and remodify, sand, it's been a real pain. It's worth the $49 to get that, either the LA or the Ohio, whichever one it is I got.
yeah, I was looking at that.
Because those files were just absolutely excellent on that boat for me from him, because he really got them down to really fine-tuned them. So just a little input for you.
Yeah, I've actually seen them a little bit. I might actually end up going with that depending on how this goes. But we'll see. I'm gonna have to fix my printer issues first, and once I get my printer working right, then I'll look into that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good plan. The other thing about the plans that I've got here, I've done some of those digital files, and then Randy Sanders did some, and then I've had some that were donated by other customers as well. But all of them typically are set up so all the control surfaces and everything are fully actuated, and they've got pilot holes for all of the control shafts, and all of that stuff has already been. And then again, the thickness of the hull has already been done, and hull joints are already addressed. So there's a lot of advantages that save some trial and error, which in our particular case, is pretty valuable. Looks like
Is this your
Dave's
first
getting
boat?
ready to join us.
Yes, it is.
Do you plan any extra features like lights or torpedoes or cruise missiles? Or
Well, I might do some lights, but as cool as that sounds right now, I'm just gonna settle on getting a working boat and then maybe add some stuff later because I don't need any more complications right now.
There you go. You have the right mentality.
yeah, keeping it dry is the biggest challenge. So
I bet.
but if we can do it, you can do it.
Well, I don't know. Y'all have a lot more experience.
Yeah, we started at the same place.
Some of the people here, but it's one thing that I kind of worry about is people think that this meeting is only for the elite builders and the most experienced people, and that's not the case. This is for everybody. The people who get the most value out of it are the newcomers who have zero experience, because you can sop up information here like a sponge. I learn something new every time we meet, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. So
Well, I guess I'm in the right spot then.
yeah, you are.
No Merriman today?
Yeah, he's there. I can see him in the corner.
Is he? Oh, I don't see him.
So I take it that's Alan who just spoke before Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the closest to him.
And you said that was like what, an hour away or something?
Yeah, hour and a half. Hi, Alan, I'm Ed.
Hi.
All right.
So you're about an hour away, you said?
Yeah, I'm in Midlothian.
Okay. Yeah, I've been down there a couple times because I was actually doing some flying lessons. Like when I was 15 or so, I went down to the glider school there just to check them out.
Right.
So,
Oh, okay, over by the airport.
yeah.
you've flown over my house if you've actually flown out of there. So yeah, no, we got you covered.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so no worries at all.
If you haven't been to Texas, everything is an hour away, including the 7-Eleven.
Most I've been is the Texas Roadhouse.
All right, it's 3. We're officially started. It's good to see everyone. So today I was invited out by some customers who stopped to the shop. So I actually drove down to South Houston this morning for an RC boat run at the what was it, Sylvania something or other park. I don't know. But it was cool. There was probably 20 or 30 people there running like sailboats, power boats, and fast electric boats. So it was neat to go down there. And if you ever do want, you know, a illustration of sort of the reverence that a lot of those people have for us, you know, it's to go to an event like that, because, you know, most of them, like when they build boats, you know, a motor, a servo, a receiver, and some batteries, and they get a little geeky about scale sometimes, but when they see the cylinders, you know, they have a boatload of respect for us. It was really neat to talk to them all down there. Hopefully I think I got maybe 3 or 4 people always stopping by the shop over the next couple of weeks, so it was fun to go out there.
Hey, Bobby, the sailboat guys are particularly geeky.
Yeah, are they about details?
Yes.
Like,
Hey, Bob, how's your neck?
it's still here. You can see it's a little swollen. It's kind of golf ballish.
Is it feeling better?
It's 100%. I woke up with it feeling better. Yeah. The
Oh,
only thing I got right now, because of this swelling, it's pushing on my esophagus, so it's kind of hard to eat big chunky food. I have to eat food like I should be eating food, with small bites and chewing lots.
No problem breathing though, right?
No, that was never a problem. I was hoarse for the first couple of days, but and it was a little off-putting to look in the mirror and see my whole throat pushed like 3/4 of an inch off to the one side. But it's cool. It's getting better and better every day.
It's a great Vulcan scar, Bob.
Yeah, I keep joking. It's like I was attacked by a cross-eyed vampire or something.
You
I'm
should have
thinking
had it done before Halloween.
Yeah, yeah,
Peter Boyle, Young Frankenstein.
yeah. So
Lots of kale broccoli smoothies for you.
I've decided I'm done with surgery. I'm sick and tired of them now. Renee and I were trying to tally up. This is like 7 or 8 in the last few years. So I'm sick of it.
But you are, with everything you've been through since April, Bob, you are, got to take the hat off to you. With the move, double surgeries. Come on. Most of us puny mortals folded.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, the double move, the house and the business.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was a triple, because we had to move my mother-in-law's house out right before my house too. Yeah. So, hey, quick shop news. I made it back into the shop barely, a little bit, kind of, last week. Still a little bit tired, and mostly because Renee is making sure that I don't do anything stupid like overextend myself, which I'm thankful for, because it probably would have taken me twice as long to heal if I would have done what I wanted to do. But next week we're hitting the ground running. As you guys know, Jason decided to make the move up here to Texas as well, and he got here on Friday. He and his family. So they're moved into their new place, which is just like 15 minutes south of me, which is pretty awesome. The bad news is his stuff isn't here, and probably won't be here for like another week. So that's not exciting, but I'll have his undivided attention for this week, because he'll have literally nothing else to do until he gets his stuff. So we're gonna hit the ground running. We've got I've got 67 backed up orders to get out over the next couple of days. And hopefully we'll have most of those addressed like Monday or Tuesday. So if any of you guys have parts on order you've been waiting on, I apologize for the wait, but it'll be out real soon. And you guys also, by the way, did a great job on ordering the new cylinders. It's only open to you guys, and only you guys get that discounted price, and 20 cylinders between the Dive Tribe group. So far, I have not yet opened up the sales to the other people. Like, I'm going to catch up to these ones, and then worry about opening them up probably mid-December for the rest
How
of
many
the.
more have you got?
What's that?
How many more have you got?
More.
Or are you just producing them as requested?
Yeah, so I kind of like opened up the floodgates and I got hit with 20 orders basically. So I've got all of the parts and components, should be to my shop like Wednesday or Thursday, but we've got everything set up. As soon as they arrive, we'll be blasting them out the door.
Okay. And how much longer is that going to be good for us?
The pricing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't decided.
But not tomorrow.
No. It'll be at least until the middle of December, I think, because I want to give you guys a chance. Yeah, I'm going to do up a full set of instructions and everything, so you guys can look through them, see what you get, and you can make a final decision then before I, crank the price back up to where it probably should be.
Okay.
Yeah. So cool stuff. That's where we're at right now. I had promised Ed to allow us to do a shop tour last time, and he couldn't make it, so he can kick things off here. But maybe before we do that, I'll just open up. Does anybody have any questions or comments for the group as a whole that we want to make sure we cover no matter what?
Yeah, Bob, I've got a quick one.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I'm going to be working like a dog this week. I may be having to shut the shop down till March.
You're going to have to shut the shop down till March.
Yeah, duty calls.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, I only found out yesterday. I get 100% confirmation Wednesday. I'll give you a call then. But it's all looking like everything's just gone up in the air in the last 48 hours over here. So I'm just waiting for my actual other job to turn around and say, right, you're needed. So just thought I'd let you guys know. Fingers and toes crossed it won't come to anything, but with the RN, anything can happen. They literally just chuck it at you within 24-hour notice.
Okay, understood. So when will you shut it down? Is this like you'll find out and be gone tomorrow, or?
No. The day I should be going is on the 15th.
Okay. Do you think you're going to have a chance to address my stingrays before then?
Half of them, mate. Most probably half.
Okay.
If I can get them all done, I've got a guy who's a fiberglass laminator who might be able to jump on top of that and get them done. Because I've got your first two are done with your two Vanguards that are still sitting here. They need to be shipped. So the two Stingrays, the other two should be ready to go. I'm hoping before I go. So I'm hoping I can get them out on the 14th.
Okay.
But that's lots of late nights and hopefully the mold's cure, because I don't know about if you've seen the news. It's been rather cold here.
Understood.
But I've got the temperature sorted out. I don't know if you can hear in the background. It sounds like a jet engine in here at the moment. I've got a Webesto burning away, which is keeping me nice and warm.
Very good.
But yeah, I'll give you a call in the week, Bob, and we'll square everything away.
All right, that sounds good.
No worries.
All right, Ed, are you ready for the grand tour?
Let me come off from mute. You can hear me?
You bet.
All right. I am, due to the fact you're recording this, Bob, I'm going to kind of ask everybody to go on mute, because when I looked at the recording of last week's, people, when you move a chair or something, the video would flash to them when somebody was describing something. So for the people who can't be here, want to see this live, please can everyone mute themselves? If you have a question, of course, unmute. But I noticed a cough or a chair squeaking flashes the camera to that person. And if you don't, I'll know who you are.
Exactly. Okay.
So just out of respect for the people who can't be here. So let's give this a shot. Let me swap the camera. All right, there we are. Okay. Wow. Ed's on the spot. By the way, I want to thank I think it was Nick and Frank who gave last week's shop tour. And the reason why I really like these things is touring a shop is almost as fun as going to a hobby store or something to see how different people do things. Now, Bob, like you said, you were here. I managed to clean it up a little bit, but we'll kind of go around, and I guess I'll explain each station, as I call it, as we see it. Over here, this area over here is primarily for fabrication. Now, what I'm about to show you is I like carts, okay? So like I got the sander on a cart. Okay, I got the drill press and the bandsaw on a cart. And that way I can move them out and give myself more room to get to like these items. Like I have an arbor press, and I have the vise and this bench grinder, which by the way, came with his shop. This guy must have been a metal worker or something, because sorry, you could see down here on the floor, he's got some kind of Texas star painted on the floor. So this shop was actually all built, ready to go for me to move into. And that includes the pegboard up there. You know, it was all ready to go in. I mean, it was a selling point along with the pool to purchase the house. I mean, forget the bedroom sizes or the garage or this. I wanted the shop. And it's got 60 amp service out to it. Like you said, it's about a 15-foot square building out in the backyard. The problem with it is temperature control. Okay, you know, these Texas summers, we're going to find out how hot it's going to get, but more on that. So again, I got fabrication back here. I never had pegboard before, but I'm loving it. I'm loving that the tools are out here. They're right where you can spot them. I watch Adam Savage a lot on YouTube. Excellent stuff he has. He has a lot of tips that go beyond just modeling, but he says that drawers are where tools go to die. I like things to be out in the open. The one thing I had to get out here was another router. It's an access point. I got full strength. That's why I'm able to do this. So that was a little project. Got the lathe. Frank talked about this lathe last week. I don't need to go into that too much. But again, this is all fabrication. The Dremels. I just picked up a cordless Dremel, which I find is handy, that uses this 12-volt system. It's the Milwaukee. They use that 12-volt system, which also fits in all their different tools. It fits in the drill. It fits in that little spray can painter you may have seen. So that's it. So again, that's what this area is.
A quick, I'll make a quick note if I could, Ed. I'm gonna jump in there. So on the pegboard topic, so you know they're awesome for organizing all your tools and everything, but they're not the cheapest things. If you go to like Home Depot and buy like the pegboard and the backer, and then all of the different like accessory hooks and all of that thing, you could easily be looking at a few $100s, right? But what I've done in the past and what my dad taught me is just get a sheet of like 3/8 spruce plywood, and you find a spot on the wall, and then you set your nails or your screws in there to hang the tools. Because once you have a spot for something, it's not too often they move around. So if you want the poor man's version of Ed's pegboard, Just standard plywood works really, really good. And if you really want to get anal, you can do what my dad did, because he worked for a boys' school and the kids would always steal the tools. He needed to know what was missing, and so he would outline the tools in marker. So you saw exactly what was supposed to be there when it was missing. It was like a chalk outline of the tool when it was gone. So just a little hint there. If you don't have a few $100s to drop, but a sheet of, I think, 3/8 plywood might be $28 or something, and some nails. So you'd be in good shape.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I don't think I would have done this at the price, because I mean, all these items were here, Bob. I went to price a few extra ones, and like $20 got like 3 or 4 parts. It was like ridiculous. But this guy left a box of parts, so it was score. So again, back now we get into the 3D printing area. This is the resin printing. I got Elugu Mars 2 and the Elugu Mercury Plus. And this area is set up. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that Mythbusters episode about how snot can get all over everything. Well, that's it with resin. Okay, so you have to really keep it contained. The rubber gloves, I use the mask, face shield. This is good to have, got the filters, the resin. I'm actually going to be starting a printing project with it this afternoon. And as I move from there into filament printing, I got my voxel printer. Ray Mason and I bought that the same day about 2 years ago. It's wonderful. ABS and PLA. Keep the PLA up there and the ABS filament. And this is my newest edition. This is your Snapmaker 2.0, which is currently printing out a stand for the Beluga. To have that going. I just started really working with that. I'm really impressed by the unit. And again, I have that on the cart, all right? Because then I can move it around. If it gets smelly, I could print outdoors if I had to. These you can't because it's liquid. You don't want to bump it. But the nice thing about carts is some of them come with cup holders. It's always nice. Now, David Merriman out there, you better recognize that cup. Those are the cups that were aboard the submarines back in the 70s and 80s. So moving on from that trivia, here we go. Here's the Beluga that I'm printing the stand for. And this is the work area. This is for major assembly and final assembly. And these tables, I got to swap that table and the table over there because those two match. And I have casters here that I'm going to put back under the tables, and allows you to easily, you guys were talking last week about how you easily want to be able, so then the tables, I can jiggy them around quite quickly with the casters on the bottom of them. They'll fit right inside the legs. So that's the plan. Here's storage. Again, you try and label everything because remember, tools, drawers are where tools go to die. Got another project here. This is classified, need to know basis, and none of y'all need to know, but I guess you can recognize what that is back there. Bob's Nautilus back there, the 148th, and we got a crick that I'm working on. So, that's basically it. So that's the flow. You have major fabrication, printing, and over here at the work table is for fine assembly. And I have my soldering station over here with a good weller. Nice adjustable temperature weller. All different grades of solder. And again, the pegboard. And this place, the guy left me an air conditioner. So at least I won't get that hot. But you can have tools. And the idea, there's another point I want to make when you think about your shop, because I love shops. Like Bob, like you said last week about even if you're on your kitchen table, you come up with a way to build. Think vertical, okay? I use these big screw eyes and bungees so it doesn't mar the paint. And you can actually store hulls up above, if you think about it. There's storage up there as well, but I decided not to do that because I found that I had a hull warp from the heat that it gets up there in the summer, but I do have plenty of storage. I feel bad for all those plastic styrene models one day I'm going to attempt to get to. They'll probably all be warped by the time. But it's a nice little shop. It was a free little shop that came with the place. Well, I guess I bought the house for the shop, so it's not that free. But yeah, you know, there's plenty of storage. And again, you know, there are a couple of cabinets. There's no real drawers anyway, but there are a couple of cabinets, and you know, I keep electrical stuff, spare parts, casting equipment, and down here, keep all your rattle cans and whatnot. So that's really it. Any questions?
Ed, nice job in a relatively small space.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, seriously, I'm impressed.
No doggy door?
Oh, doggy door. Hold on here. I lost you guys. Where are you? No doggy door. Okay, I see Bob. Okay, yeah, no doggy door, Rick. Though, you know, I do, you know, have the beware of a Chihuahua sign. I'm looking at everyone putting the right
Ed, you're
place.
going to want to think about putting a window air unit in somewhere there.
I know. I'm thinking about. It's let me tell you how warm it is. It's about 73 in here right now.
I'm serious, Ed. I put one in my garage in the third stall where I do my work. Makes all the difference in the world.
All right, I'm gonna give it a shot. Hey, Rick, you out there? Yeah, it's coming along slow.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, yep. I mean, really, it's just, I got to finish repairing the bow and then slap it together. I mean, all the hard stuff is done. All the running gear, she's ready. She will run this year. I keep
Excellent.
saying that every year. I'm like one of those guys that would show up at a regatta, remember? Oh, next year. Oh, next year. No, but this year I got to get it.
Subfest 2022.
That's it. And that'll be the perfect environment for it.
And Ed, be thinking about a wall fan.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm even cooking right now.
Yeah, that coupled with the window AC unit, you'll be glad you did.
You might add some insulation to that list too, Ed.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I'm worried about again, so the models are going to be moved to the relatively cooler garage, you know, the unbuilt stuff, and all the models that are completed, and that's a staging area to go out for the day. So that's why I managed to clear up some space, Bob, because I moved all the hulls, everything that's running into the garage.
There you go.
Okay, now I got to figure out how to swap this camera back.
You know, actually, we should make this a topic for maybe for one of our next dive tribes. So it's one thing to have an area to build the boats, but then you have to have an area to store the boats. Now, there's always two challenges, right? There's physical space, and then there's physical space that your spouse or significant other allows you to have. Because there's lots of room in a house, but not much of it is something that a lot of people would allow boats to be out on display. So maybe we should think about that. I just, when Jason came up, he swung up through North Florida, through St. Augustine, where Dwayne Hill met him. If you guys are unfamiliar with him, Dwayne's a super talented builder. He goes by Rc Sub on YouTube, scratch builds all of his boats. And I grabbed 5 from him because he had 25 48 scale submarines. He only builds in 48 scale, and he was moving to a smaller house. He needed to downsize his fleet. So try and wrap your head around, you know, 25 6 and 7 foot long RC Submarines. So that's only his submarines. You know, apparently he's got battleships and all sorts of other stuff too. Oh, by the way, if you guys are into RC battleships, I've got pics of 2 that he's looking to sell. You know, these would be like massively well engineered and well performing boats. So if that's your thing, they're not going to be cheap, but they would be absolutely jaw-droppingly awesome.
Which surface ships does he have, Bob?
I'm gonna have to dig back in my emails and see.
Oh, that's all right. I know he built a beautiful Halifax class frigate, which is the Royal Canadian Navy's mainstay surface ship, and it's a real intriguing. But in 48 scale, it'll be a beast.
Well, I can try and dig it up. Yeah, I'll look. If I can dig it up while we're here, then I'll mention it here in a second. It'll take me a bit to go through all my emails.
Ed, I like you U25. Where you got it?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that Crick U25. The Crick U25 was my first RC submarine back in 1988. Okay, I think it was $125 US back then, and I had no idea. Like Bob said, I had no idea what I was doing. I followed the instructions, which you could probably read a lot better than I could, but you know, it wasn't that difficult. You know, it's not like I was translating Chinese. But went together well. I love that boat. And then I lost it. It was the first and only RC submarine I lost. And I know it happened because I didn't tighten the 3 lid screws properly. What happened was a bunch of children saw me setting up, and they ran up and they bombarded me with questions, and I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. Okay. Since then, David come out with like a pre-underweight checklist, which I use religiously now since that event, because I'll easily get distracted. You know, you're sitting there and you're working on a $1,500, $2,000 model, and a bunch of people walk up and start asking questions, and you can lose your rig for dive sequence. So I lost that boat. This boat belonged to a gentleman called Jim Butt, and I purchased it about 2 years ago, and I'm currently undergoing a refit with, I'm using brushless motors, gonna, you know, get better runtime, real brass propellers with 3mm shaft, you know, 125 shafts with proper shaft seals. I've already done that. I already ripped them out, replaced them. So it's going to be a higher quality, a lot more detail on the hull. So it just, it was my first sub, and it's sort of like close to the heart for me.
Thank you. I had the same situation. I bought once a Walter submarine type 17G, but the guy, they ripped me off somehow. It was not tightened enough, and there was some gaps, I would say. So, and then when I went on a lake, then I lost an O-ring. I didn't notice this because some guy talked to me, like you told me before. And I screwed it together, and the driving come back after 10 minutes. I say, well, something was strange with the behavior of the boat. So the ESC was wet. So I was looking, and at the first place, I didn't see that the O-ring was missing. So be always attention to the ceilings. This is a really, and give good attention to this. So and, on a third hand, I make a deal with the other guy. So I got rid of this boat because it was really a pain in the ass for me, this whole story, to get it sealed at least.
Yeah.
I paid so much money for A rotten boat, I would say.
I got a rule of thumb for everybody. When you're at the table preparing your model, and this is where diplomacy comes in. I know coming from me that doesn't sound right, but the correct thing to do is when somebody asks a question or makes an observation or addresses you, stop working. Put your tools down, make eye contact with the guy, and talk until he's happy. When he's done, turn to your work, and that's all you do. Work.
Another really good idea, and I think Dave Merriman started, or he was the first one I saw that actually did one. It was in this like old sheaf of papers that he sent me, probably from like 80, looked like it was typewritten, but it was checklists. It was like, you know, pre-mission checklist, post-mission checklist. It would be a really, really great idea for each specific boat, create your own paper checklist. And if you're smart, you'll make it in a nice, you know, concise thing. Clip it to the boat stand so that it's right there staring you in the face. And every time you do whatever that phase is, run through the checklist. I'm a private pilot, and no matter, you know, if a pilot's brand new like me or has been flying for 10 or 15 years, you will always, always, always find paper checklists in the plane, because you need to have that reference to check. There's nothing that'll kill your plane or your boat or yourself faster than apathy, you know, comfort. Oh, I've done it so many times. Oh, I remember, you know, and it next thing you know, you forgot to put a plug in or to tighten a screw down, and away it goes, and bloop, it doesn't come up again. So
the genesis of these protocols we're talking about, pre-mission, mission, post-mission, is a derivative of what Ed and I learned as submariners. Every compartment has a bill holder, and each bill is for a specific evolution. Rig for dive, rig for surface, rig for smoke, rig for wiping your ass, whatever the evolution is. You break out the bill and you read it. It doesn't matter how many times you've rigged the torpedo room for ventilation. You break the bill out, you read it, and the guy is right behind you checking you out. Do that religiously, and you won't forget that oil ring. You won't forget tighten down those lug nuts.
Checklists originated with the crash of the first B-17. It was the cause of the crash. They learned later that they had to have checklists for an entire team. And since then, they've become the backbone of everything we do.
And they named an air base after the pilot,
Yeah.
the one that crashed the Model 217 or whatever it was. Anyway.
there you go. So yeah, checklists. That would be great. And I need to do as I preach and not as I say, but I have to do the same thing. Every boat should almost have like a little flip manual where you can just mentally go through it. You know, even if you do everything, get it ready for the water, and before you put it in the water, run through the checklist. And, you know, at least you'll be able to, oh shoot, you know, before it goes in the water, you'll like, I forgot to do whatever. Far less embarrassing to pull it back from the shore than out of the bottom of the pool.
I saw some guys that have on the remote some signs like diving, surface, or special function. I was always wondering why you put the sticker on it, but now I know it. I forgot on myself. This switch is for diving pump, lights, or so this is also a nice idea to. It looks a little bit stupid for me, but it is really helpful to do this. To put
label your transmitter.
Excuse me?
Do you label the transmitter? Is that what you're talking about?
I will it now. I have to do. I don't know if to turn left or right is it diving or surfacing. I don't know at the moment. I have to check it out with the sub. So it's also a nice idea to do this. So you're a little bit relaxed for me, so like this.
And that becomes more and more important as your fleet grows. You know, obviously every boat is different and unique, and you know, you might build a boat and not run it for a year, and then you got to re-educate yourself on how to operate it. It'd be good to have those cues. Yeah, that's a great idea. So I want to make sure some of you guys, most of you guys weren't here when we were first talking because we started a couple of minutes early today. We mentioned last Dive Tribe that, you know, we were pretty excited to be talking to a young gentleman, and Alan's actually here today. So I hooked him up with Dive Tribe membership, and he managed to get signed in a little bit earlier. So Alan, why don't you just take a minute? A few of us have seen you, but just let us know who you are and what you're doing and why you're here at Dive Tribe today.
Yeah, so I got kind of interested in this when I was 14, and I emailed Bob a couple times. And actually, interestingly enough, I purchased a tiny little Revell kit, teeny tiny little Los Angeles. It was like what, like 1/600th, I think, tiny little boat. And I tried a couple things with a couple tiny little servos, and stuff didn't work. And then I kind of got distracted, and then I graduated. So now I have a lot more time on my hands, and I have a job, which helps. So I still want a Los Angeles. It was a Los Angeles that I bought initially. And that's still my plan, to build a Los Angeles. I had a couple failed prints this last week. I was attempting to print a ridiculously big one, actually. Like, here's a sail. This one actually had an extrusion issue that ended up not finishing it, so like it stopped about there. But anyways, going back to what you guys were talking about with the size and storage and everything, I was wondering if it might be helpful to have a smaller boat, like the 196 that I found on your website. That kind of intrigued me now, because my mom, the first thing she asked is, where's it going to go?
Yeah.
So but yeah, I'm glad I'm finally doing it, and I'm glad I'm surrounded with people that know what they're doing, because this is really kind of my first venture into this, other than the little boat that I tried to build when I was 14. I've built a couple airplanes, a couple cars, so I have some RC background, but never done a submarine.
Well, first off, good for you as being someone who's, you know, willing to, you know, work with your hands and you know, will something into being. On your question about the size of the boat, I'm a big sub guy myself, and typically the rule of thumb, the bigger the boat, the easier it is to work on. There comes a limit to that. I would say 96 scale, like you said, is just about the perfect size. When you talk about like bigger nuke boats, they end up being, you know, typically between 3 and 4 feet in length, depending on what the subject matter is, and usually between like 4 and 5 inches in beam. So you've got a lot of room in there. You don't need tweezers to build it, but you also don't need a truck to transport it. And also, you know, sort of off-the-shelf parts, pre-made parts are much easier to come by, because that's the vast majority of boats are kind of in that size range. So you're not talking about bespoke or custom things, you know, super high capacity pumps and gargantuan batteries and, you know, all of that different kind of stuff. So as a rule, I would say for your first boat, that would probably be my recommendation for sure. I could see Dave Merriman nodding in the background there. I think that would probably be a great idea. Kind of take it out of the box and you know, print it out, and then you can start working on the linkages, and then we can start talking about electronics.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is I was trying to think how big of a cylinder I would need for a boat with a almost 6-inch beam. That was getting pretty big, and I was starting to think like a 6S battery. And then basically came to the point where I'm like, this is the opposite of the problem that I initially had with the tiny boat, only now I'm looking for big components, but it's the same idea. So
it all depends. Like my first boat was fairly big. It was 5.5 feet long, but it had like a 9-inch beam to it, and I populated it with like old car parts. I mean, that was back in the day when I had no money and no other choice, and we didn't have all the internet resources and everything that we have now. But yeah, as a rule, you'll find that there's just so many kind of ready-made solutions for you. And I love that you've got the right mentality. It's like, I just want to build a boat. You know, if I get really fancy, I'll put some lights in it, but I just want it to run. And Alan had mentioned that earlier for those of you who weren't here, which is sort of the opposite of what a lot of people are like. Oh yeah, it's a boat. So, build it and we'll have periscopes and torpedoes and sound and smoke and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for the Los Angeles because I watched as a kid Hunt for Red October, and I love that movie so much. Yeah, I'm a geek, but for sure, I want to do a Los Angeles, and the fact that there's a 196 scale available, like the files for it, that I can print, I think is probably what I'll end up doing.
There you go. Yeah, good on you. Good job.
Bob, Blueback kit, 1/96 scale. I sent you once an email. I'm still thinking about maybe to buy one of the kits. There any custom fees for me if I come to Germany?
So yeah, you'll be hit, but with VAT when it goes through customs. I think it's like 20% or something crazy like that for you guys. Oh wait,
Really
no,
crazy.
I'm thinking the UK.
20% more. It's good. Okay. I have a contact to a nice guy. He bought all the old Schaffer molds.
Schaefer, yeah.
Company. I had a nice contact to him.
They made a U-boat kit, didn't they?
Excuse me?
They made a U-boat kit, did they not?
Yeah.
Like a
MiG
German
21, 23, Type 9, Type 7, Seahand, and Hecht, I think.
Wow.
Well, see, he's retooling now the whole molds because they're a little bit old, I would say. But this is side business. He have a normal job, but I give him some advice and hints. So he was happy. He replied to me and said, "Thank you. We will think about all the things and we will see what happens, what comes out." He still offered the Type 9 in 1/40 scale. There are no pictures at the moment on his website, so I have to see. And I found a Ukrainian Russian submarine company also. He have nice kits, but he only sell to the Russian Federation. So I have no chance to get a kit. He have a real nice Alpha kit in 1/72 scale, a Kilo class, Oscar class, Type 212, some fancy racing submarine, but only to the Russian Federation he will send it and deal with them. There's a little bit of pity. So maybe I found a solution to get
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, obviously the other solution, that we can always put whatever we want in terms of a value on that hull when we ship it. The only thing is that affects your valuation for insurance. So if it gets lost or damaged and you put a $50 value on it, then basically it's a write-off, right? So
I have to see with the Blueback because it's a really nice model, really nice looking model, that Blueback.
yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little boat. And so all of those Manly boats are beautiful boats.
Explain it again to me. I'm a little bit confused now with the WTCs you will offer. You have different kinds. You have from the companies called Air and Air from the Britain guy.
Yep.
You have the one from the OTW.
Yep.
And your own ones, right?
Correct.
And I saw a picture with a straight pipe, but there is also a picture with two different diameters of the pipes. So I'm
those would be the R&R ones with the white end caps.
No, they have a main pipe that's bigger and in the bow and in the
those are the Msd Sub Drivers. That was the product that David Merriman engineered. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those would have been like the previous generation of sub driver.
The WTC will offer soon. They will all fit all your boats you offer.
No, not all of them. They're going to be 3-inch diameter. So anything that will take a 3-inch cylinder, they'll be applicable for.
With the Blueback?
The Blueback will take the 70 millimeter shortened version of the R&R cylinder.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, that's my next project. Once I get caught up, I'm super excited. I feel a lot better about this. By the way, I've told some of you about this, but I have made the decision to cease offering commission buildups of boats. I made that decision not lightly because it's obviously something I enjoy doing. But when I took a look at things from a more holistic perspective, I could tie that portion of my time up for a month to build one boat for one customer, or I could take all of that time and work on new products, new videos, new resources for the hobby and help 100 people. So I made that decision. Now I've got a build queue that I'm gonna clear up. I'm hoping to have that done by early 2022. And then from that point, that time that I would have allocated to build ups are going to be new product development, new kits, new cylinders. I'm working with a bunch of people right now on new electronics, automation, radios, like a whole bunch of stuff. It's I wish the day had 48 hours or I wish I didn't have to sleep, but I have to prioritize where I'm going to allocate my time and energy. And that's what I've decided to do. Now, I'm still going to build boats, but there'll be ones that I want to build and I can just pick at it in my free time, and if I don't get to it for like 2 months, I'm not sweating, I'm not crying, and I don't have to worry about letting a customer down. So that's kind of effective as of right now, kind of thing.
David, I've got it. Thank you very much. This is really the perfect plans I ever saw in my life.
Top secret plans.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Excuse me?
John Lambert drawings. They're beautiful.
I know. He was a great guy, I heard.
Yes, he was.
Yes. Bob, this is from the Msd Submarine called X51.
Oh yeah,
It was built in the 50s.
Yep.
In the 50s. They are already scanned, David, and I will send them back soon as possible.
No rush, Gantu. Make good use of the file in the drawings. And
the files are here. I have it on. The files are on a stick. I put them on the PC already, and I have to see because it's a lot of drawing to redraw it in a Victorian digital file. So
okay.
I have
Just keep in mind, I already talked with the copyright holder, so they gave me permission for one-time use. So
I don't spread it. I don't spread it. Believe
excellent.
me.
Thank you.
This is a rule for me. So. Bob, do you always sell empty WTCs or only with all electronics and all pumps and all motors and gears?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yes, I'm not able at the moment to somehow late end caps, for example. So I have to buy a empty WTC, for example, that I put my own stuff inside. Or you only sell full functional WTCs.
As of right now, but actually the next step, and Dave and Mike Caswell started with the easy driver, I think they call it. It was not a great seller, but the idea behind it was basically like it's all the running gear minus the ballast system in a single container, compartment. So that's going to be a super easy option for me to be able to offer. And then the other thing I want to do is to be able to offer just the empty caps and an empty cylinder for people. If they want to mess around with their own guts and gizmos and all of that stuff, at least they'll have a waterproof box, container that they can begin with. But they need to make sure that they understand I'm not responsible for what they do with it. Because when Dave and I talked about this, it was a big debate. I'm like, I'll offer my cylinders in kit format and people can put them together themselves. The issue with that is they mess it up and it's not their fault. It's my fault. It's a crappy product and it was too expensive and it doesn't work. And the next thing you know, you got a bad reputation. So that's why I decided on a little bit of a hybrid. All of the hard parts are pre-done. Motors are pre-mounted, servos are pre-mounted, ballast system is pre-installed, linkage arms are out, seals are installed. So you just got to like bolt it together and you're done.
Yes, that's right. Everybody have another view of to see how is the functional and the technique. Everybody have another how to go in it. So that's always where the errors come from. So they need a briefing or a nice manual that really nice made and easy actually. Your videos are very good, Bob. The videos are very good and very helpful. Thank you for that.
Yeah, the cylinder instructions are going to be exceptionally comprehensive. They'll be in like digital paper format as well as a video walkthrough on assembly. So if you can't put the cylinder together with those, then you're in the wrong hobby.
Are you going to offer a access for a third servo on those new cylinders? Because you only have 2 servos in there, which would be only a rudder and a stern planes, I guess. You wanted to operate the fair water planes, or
Well, no, it's true and it's not true. The cylinder itself actually has 4 servo outputs, 2 forward and 2 aft. And it comes stock that way. So the rear, just like your boat is set up, you'd have rear output for rudder and rear dive planes, forward output for forward planes, and then you would have bow retract or torpedo shutter or whatever you want to have on that second auxiliary channel. I have no plans or designs to add more servo outputs to the stern watertight section.
well, when I was looking at the 2 new ones you put out, the forward caps didn't have any access through them.
That must be the R&R units you were looking at, maybe?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, those are the units out of the UK, and he just has the 2. Yeah, so you'd have to do your own forward servo in the battery. There's lots of room. You can just put it on the cap in the front.
Are you going to offer the little O-ring type thing that you can drill and glue in there for that?
Yeah, I mean, I offer all the seals.
Okay, okay. I just hadn't looked at the page in a while. I just okay.
Yep, and actually the really easy solution to that would be to actually just grab like a high-tech waterproof servo and just literally RTV it to the front battery cap, and then you just drill a hole for the wire, and you have your your forward dive planes right there.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, obviously, speaking honestly, I would rather sell my cylinders because I make more money selling my cylinders than the like 10% that I make off of R&R cylinders. But it's filling a gap in the product line that I have right now. And he's got a great reputation, and I was really impressed with the quality of work that he was doing. So I don't think anybody would be disappointed in that product for sure.
Rob, with the Type 7, for example, they have a bow rudder and an aft section rudder, depth rudder. But somebody told me that it's not needed, the front rudder, to use it if you want diving. Is this right?
On the
Type 7, for example.
The dive planes?
Yes.
So any boat realistically doesn't need front dive planes. You can dive a boat with the stern planes and you can surface it again, but it's the difference between a scale like operation where the boat kind of submerges on a quasi level keel, and the like porpoising, like a dolphin operation. The fun boats to drive, like the dolphins and maybe even like albacore or whatever, they're like little rockets. They're just super fun. Maybe you don't care about that kind of thing, but if you've got a nice big stately boat, you don't want it like breaching out of the water every time you're trying to surface the boat. That's why you need that additional control, fulcrum at the front of the boat, so you've got much more control over. And just in case you guys don't know, or for Alan, typically the way that it's set up, stern planes are used primarily for pitch control, and your forward dive planes primarily for depth control. So in practical application, your forward dive planes will pull the bow down And then the stern planes will react by pulling the stern down. So the bow will come down a bit and then the stern will follow it. So for the most part, it's staying fairly, you know, level. And if you got it set up with override, you can always do crash dive, you know, and then dive or emergency surface and override your automatic pitch controller. But typically that's the way that you'd set up your boat. Your stern planes are just going to work 90% of the time autonomously to keep the boat level. Forward planes are going to pull the boat down and push the boat back up again. But you can work just with stern planes. It's perfect. It's just your boat it'll look like a fish going up and down in the water.
It looks pretty goofy.
Well, I mean,
At least
I wouldn't
on
want to be on those boats. Let's just put it that
oh,
way.
oh heck, oh God, no.
Oh, I might need to go. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute myself. Talk amongst yourselves.
Matthew,
Hey, Gantu, I sent
what
you.
you doing?
You all right?
Ah, you do WTC
doing?
again?
Yeah, another one.
Good.
Got one more to go after this.
10 more?
One more, and then I've got through them, and then I've got through my back order of WTCs.
Uh-huh.
I say I've been working till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at the moment. So I lost most of last week because Lauren was in hospital, as you well know. So, but hey, at least I'm at home. So cracking on.
You and I need to still get together, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, and try and do it next week because
That's
as
fine.
I said, after
That's fine.
yeah, as I
Whenever.
okay, because Wednesday, that's when I know if I'm going or not. If I'm not, happy days. But if I am, then I've got to ship out. So
Okay, so you're going to be going in the inflatables.
no. This is all to do with helping the NHS out.
Okay.
I'm just going to cut in real quick. I need to bail, guys. I have a contractor outside who's chopping down trees and he needs me out there. Hopefully he didn't like fell a tree on my house or something. But I'll queue up. If you're good, just manning the helm for everyone, I'll leave you guys off and I'll catch you next time.
See you later, Bob.
All right.
See you. Have a good time.
Thanks again, Ed.